Right, well, it's time for another grow along. Now these grow alongs are my way of trying to encourage other people to grow their own food, but also get people who already know how to grow this particular vegetable to share their own tips and tricks. And this week what we're actually going to be growing is butternut squash. Now for me, butternut squash is a must have. This butternut squash we actually grew last year. We harvested this probably October, November time. The only thing we did is make sure we leave a long stalk when we harvested it, and we let it cure for a couple of weeks in the greenhouse before it went into storage. And to be honest, all it's done is sit in the kitchen worktop, and it is still absolutely fine. This solid discoloration was there when we harvested it. It's just where it was on the ground. But overall, you know, these butternut squashes, absolutely fine. I've heard people being able to keep up butternut squashes for about 18 months before, so it's a good enough reason to grow them, just purely for their storage ability. Now, as I said, they are one of my favourite things to grow. They've got a nice sweet flavour, but also the seeds are a nice easy thing to handle. So I just take a single seed and pop it into each single root trainer, and I push it in on its side to try and slot it into the ground, if you like, into the compost. Now at this time of year it won't take long for these to show themselves. A couple of weeks I reckon they'll probably start germinating. We will let them grow probably another week or two in these root trainers. We will pot them up, but I reckon during July, beginning of July, they will have to go in the ground. Probably end up down on the allotment, maybe here at home as well. Now when these grow, they do take up quite a bit of space. As you can imagine, they are a bit like pumpkins. They're a training plant. They are from the same family, the cucurbit family, of course. So they do take up a bit of space, but actually you can train them to grow up upwards, up trellises or something like that. They do need to be strong if they grow up, strong supports, but on a whole, I personally just leave them to trail across the ground, and I find them absolutely fine for that. The good thing is, of course, because they trail and they've produced some fairly big leaves, they actually work quite well at shading out weeds underneath. So I do tend to try and grow them around things that need a bit of shading, shall we say. Underneath my sweet corn is a good example. Now, keep them well watered. They do need somewhere in full sunlight, plenty of organic matter mixed into the bed that they're going to grow in, but well watered, free draining soil, and they should do fine. And feeding about once every 2 weeks with a tomato feed should also help them turn into flowers and produce some of these fruits that we are after. Around October, November time, you wait for the fruits to turn that solid sort of orangey, beigey colour all the way around, and then it's ready to harvest. As easy as that, really is. So let me know if you do anything different, or if you've got any tips or tricks that you know on how to grow butternut squash down in the comments down below. Obviously keep watching the vlogs to see when these go in the ground and where they end up going. But for now, it's the butternut squash sown.